Evening all. The Reds are rolling after Sunday's cracking comeback against Fulham and will take that momentum on the road, this time to Bramall Lane, where Jürgen Klopp's side will become Chris Wilder's first test on his return to Sheffield United, now confirmed, and thus a different and maybe a tougher test it will be. So Liverpool are in South Yorkshire on this Wednesday evening, a 7:30 kickoff. We have all the build-up right here before live audio commentary on both LFC TV and LFC TV Go. So welcome along to Matchday Live. Tonight I'm joined by two former Reds who both, and you may know this, closed out their playing careers with the Blades, Phil Thompson and Nigel Spackman. Any divided loyalties, fellas? Spackers?
None at all, no. Obviously, we're Liverpool supporters, but yeah. I do have a soft spot for Sheffield United. I had a great time there. Yeah. The support is really good, the city's good, but they're really struggling this season. But it's a good time to go there and play them. We have to wait and see.
Well, is it?
I was just going to disagree with you straight away, Nigel. Because I don't think it is, because there's the fans have a soft spot for Chris Wilder. Him doing so well and bringing him back up to the Premier League. He's back in charge. There's one thing about Chris, he's quite dynamic. He's quite aggressive. And he'll want his team to play that way. So as soon as I heard sort of yesterday that this could be happening, I thought, no, not just yet, please, just carry it over. And maybe it's the cynic in me, but this is, you know what's going to happen. The fans are going to be up for it. Can't wait to see Chris on the touchline. He's going to be there. He's going to be super aggressive. And I just think it will make it that little bit harder, particularly in that early spells in the game. Yeah,
early goals wouldn't half burst the balloon. From a Red point of view, of course. Before the lads get too misty-eyed, though, for what looks like a damp Bramall Lane, let's get there for our first visit. Becky Davis is pitch side for us tonight, alongside Neil Mellor.
Yeah, hello there, Matt. Welcome along to what is, I can tell you, a bitterly cold Bramall Lane here tonight. It is just above freezing at the moment. I think no doubt it's going to drop a few degrees as well over the course of the next few hours. Neil Mellor's made the journey across the Pennines. He's got his scarf on, he's got his gloves on. Do you miss it on nights like this?
It's still Baltic. It's probably going to be colder in the stand. At least the lads will get a chance to run out. When it's cold like this, it's not enjoyable, especially if you're on the bench. But the lads who are out there have got a chance to keep warm by running about. Absolutely.
Well, listen, you plied your trade for a bit just down the road at Sheffield Wednesday, but this ground holds special Liverpool memories for you, doesn't it? Just tell me, go on.
They don't like me here. I scored my first career goal for Liverpool here, which was a special moment. It really was, as a young boy. It was behind me in that end. The travelling Liverpool fans were there. It was nice to share that moment with them. The problem I had was when I did the post-match interview, I forgot my hair gel. Looked a right wally. Yeah, looked a right wally.
That's not one for you. You're big on the appearance, aren't you, Mels, right? Let's just talk about the game in hand. Obviously, a few days ago, this looks like a fairly run-of-the-mill fixture for Liverpool. The past 48 hours, or 24 hours even, it's taken on a different kind of significance. Out goes Heckingbottom, in comes Chris Wilder once again, and hopefully for us, not a new manager bounce.
Well, hope not. Obviously, they needed a change. They're really struggling at the moment. Sheffield United lost a couple of games where you're thinking they needed to get something from it. They've turned to a man who knows the football club really well, and one thing he does have is a connection with these supporters. So for me tonight, keep the crowd quiet, keep the crowd out of this game tonight, and that will give us a better chance. But certainly first half, early doors, they'll be getting right behind the returning manager.
Yeah, and in terms of him, I mean, how much can he do in such a short amount of time? He's probably had time to take one training session. He's had a press conference to deal with as well. And with their result of the weekend, that 5-0 against Burnley, it's a lot for him to try and turn around that quickly. Yeah,
there's very little pressure. It feels like a free hit. You know, he's not expecting to have got anything from the game anyway. I think when a manager leaves and a new one comes in, it just gives everybody a different mood within the place. Some players will be made up, some will be disappointed, but I am expecting some kind of a reaction, certainly early doors.
OK, we're going to go and warm up, get ourselves a little hot drink, I think. Back to you in the nice warm studio where we'll have some team news for you very soon.
Don't be jealous, Becky. It's not perfect in here. Look, I've got these two to deal with for the next hour.
Calm down.
Hair gel.
I know.
Neil.
Hair gel. It looks like he remembered it tonight, to be fair.
Yeah, I've heard he's got one of those plug-in hair dryers for his car as well. You know, you put it in the cigarette thing and he does that. No, I'm only joking.
What's wrong with that?
You should have used it, Tom.
Stackers did use it. Look, he's fully briefed at the front there, isn't he? Already.
The quiz.
But Tom was making the point, and Neil making the same point, really, and it's a good one, that they're just on a crossroads, aren't they? For the first 20 minutes of this game, Sheffield, do they get that classic new manager bounce, or do Liverpool find a way to quieten everything down again?
Well, in some ways, you want Sheffield United to come and have a go at you and hit them on the counter-attack and take your chances. It's another away game which we've got to win. Our away form isn't great. We drew at Luton, we drew at Brighton, we won at Wolves, didn't we? We drew at Chelsea. So we've got to improve away from home. And tonight, I just think is a great opportunity. I know the crowd will be up for it. The players will be up for it. They're going to be ultra aggressive, and that's what the players have got to deal with tonight. Not just the cold and wearing gloves and things like that, or short sleeves, as Tomo would. But, you've got to deal with the passion that will come through from the crowd and from the players.
Yeah, I can't see them roaring out the blocks and having a go at Liverpool, can you?
I think they will do.
Do you?
Before the change of manager, I'd have thought they'll come out and they'll sit there and try and hit us on the counter. But that is going to allow us to get a foothold into the game and pass it about. I think Chris will go, if he's going to need the crowd behind him, which I think he will do, he'll go, let's get in the faces. Right. Straight, Van Dijk, let's let them know. McBurney's not playing, obviously, because of his red card at the weekend, but he will tell them, let's get into them. Let's get into the ribs. Let's make sure, let's push high up, at least for that first 15 minutes, because Liverpool will be expecting it. Let's not disappoint them. Our fans will demand it, so we're going to give it to them.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think they will. And you know the way they're going to play. They're going to play the three at the back. They're going to play the wing-backs. Are they good enough in attacking areas to hurt us? I think at the moment you'd have to say no. Who's going to stand up and be counting for them? But they've conceded, 28 goals already this season. And I believe if we score 2 tonight, it's going to be the worst start in a Premier League season of any team. So here have them fired up, and it might suit Liverpool that we can counter-attack them if they push on too far with our pace on the counter.
Yeah, worth remembering, at Bramall Lane at least, City, I think Spurs, and from memory, maybe even Arsenal, they've had to fight quite hard, even for a narrow late goal winner.
I think it's the Premier League, isn't it?
Yeah.
As much as you see Luton down there, you see Sheffield United, Burnley, they're always going to give you a fight. They're always going to have a go. And we've had our problems, don't forget. Last season was dreadful. All those teams who were in the bottom 6 or so all got great joy out of us. This season we're maybe finding it away. We're not falling. As Packers says, we've got to get better on our travels, pick up more points. Because with what happened with Arsenal last night, I think it's imperative we give this a good go. We have to be at it right from the start.
Yeah, obviously he is somewhat limited, Chris Wilder, with the number of injuries and suspensions in McBurney's case. So it's not like he can perform miracles in terms of people back off treatment tables, I don't think.
No, not really. And like Chris Basham, I think, got a terrible knee injury. Yeah. He's one of the leaders within the group. But there's no one you can look at in that squad who said at this level, at Premier League level, in a tight game is going to get you that goal, that'll get you the 3 points. That's what he'll be looking for. But I look within the squad at Bramall Lane, and they lost their 2 best players in the summer. And Berger went off to Burnley, and they didn't really reinforce. And I think that's one of the things that Heckingbottom can say. You didn't give me the money. I got you up, and then you've not given me the money to improve my squad, the depth, or getting in a striker that can score goals. And that's why they are where they are. The squad's not good enough and not deep enough. But Chris Wilder will get them going, getting that passion. But overall, I think this is a good game for him to come in. It's one of those as
it's a free hit.
It's a free hit,
of sorts. The team, when you're saying about the injuries and everything, I think even the ones who are coming in, they're all of a certain level.
Yeah.
So they're not going to sort of enhance the team, but they're not going to sort of diminish it in any way. They're all going to come. They're all going to sort of roll up the sleeves and just give it a good go. And no, we're maybe going on about this passion bit. That's what we've got to. And if we don't match it, you've seen how cold it is there. Yeah. And we've played at Bramall Lane. It can be freezing. And we've got to be ready. There's none of these John Barnes with tights and all this on. Got to be ready for it.
Speaking of passion, Anfield on Sunday, what do you both take from that? Is it glass half full because you've won a game in such dramatic circs? Or do you pick holes in the fact that it was nearly a very bad day?
Well, I think in the end you look at the result and you say it's another 3 points, 100% record at Anfield. But, you know, you have to say that we're conceding too many goals. We've got to tighten up. We've got big games against the Arsenal coming up and obviously Man United coming up, so we've got to be tighter. But still, the thing is, at the end of the day, you get 3 points, you win it, but you want to win it more comfortably than winning late on.
Yeah, because they led in the end 3 times, but twice with some control, Phil, and yet somehow lost that control.
Yeah, we lost the control. I put it down because we had a really good start. We lost control of it when the keeper went down injured for, 7 minutes, something like that, which it took the sting out of it. We've won this game without the top 5, if you want. Those big strikers that we have always scoring goals. We won it without them, which is on one hand, but I thought we were short up front in Mo, in Darwin and Luis. I don't think it actually worked for us up there. I thought actually the defenders played quite well, but it was just we were open at times, which they came into the game, particularly in the second half, become a bit of a basketball match.
Because in this period where Darwin hit the bar, there were a number of chances to effectively seal the game, weren't there? That probably would have seen Fulham off, but because it didn't happen, they came back into it.
Well, in the Premier League, in any league, you have to be clinical. Otherwise, they can go down the other end, have one chance and score. And Fulham aren't a bad team, you know. They play good football. I think tactically, they did very well at the weekend. Losing Matip was a bit of a blow as well. But, you know, as Phil said, other players coming up and scoring goals. I mean, McAllister's goal, Trent's finish here was magnificent. But overall, we've got to still get a little bit tighter. If we want to go on and win things, I think you've got to be a little bit more tighter. And that's not just at the back, that's in the middle of the park as well. I still think we have a problem with the protection of the 2 centre-backs from a midfield player.
Szoboszlai's, I think, he hit such a high those first 6 or 7 games, but the last 4 or 5, he's had a bit of a dip. Whether it's that energy of coming to a new club, that he's just finding his feet. So don't know about whether he will play tonight. So it's going to, that side of it's going to be interesting. But that's the good thing. We're sitting there in second place. I still think there's so much more to come from this side. And that's what I will think. Man City, Arsenal, anybody else up there will be going, this team's done ever so well. And they've still got a lot more to come from them. Because it's great because even the substitutions, Endo coming on, I thought did absolutely terrific. I think he always brings something. And the subs coming onto the pitch make things happen. They're not just there for numbers.
Yeah, it looks like a good race. I know we're only in early December, but Pep had his say yesterday, if we play like this, we'll win it. Arsenal had their say on the pitch last night. They keep finding ways, even if they're not wholly convincing, to win. So not dissimilar in some ways to Liverpool on Sunday. So you've got to stay in that conversation.
Yeah, but I think Phil's won so many trophies with Liverpool. I'm lucky enough to win as well. But I think Kenny would always say, well, nothing's won until April, or you're not in the race until April. You've got to hang on in there because the big games come. But you've just got to hang in there, keep winning your home games, nick things away from home. But you've always got to look to get better and get that understanding within the group as well, and take your chances when they come along at this level.
OK. Let's head back to Bramall Lane. Time to get the breaking Liverpool team news. Becky and Neil, all yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Matt. We were expecting a fair few changes from Jürgen Klopp tonight. Obviously, one of those was enforced. João Matip with that rather nasty-looking knee injury sustained, as you were just talking about, in that epic battle against Fulham at the weekend. Ibou Konate does come in for him, as expected tonight, but that is one of 4 changes the boss makes this evening. Out goes João Matip, as we say. Also, Kostas Tsimikas, Ryan Gravenberch and Darwin Núñez aren't in the team this evening. In come Joe Gomez, Endo and Cody Gakpo. Let's give you the Liverpool lineup in full. It is as follows. In goal, it's Quaveen Kelleher. In front of him at a defence, still seeking its first clean sheet away from home actually this season. It's Trent Alexander-Arnold. As I say, Ibou Konate comes in for João Matip, Virgil van Dijk alongside him, and Joe Gomez comes in for Kostas Tsimikas at left back. It's a midfield of Dominic Szoboszlai. Endo, fresh from getting his first Premier League goal at the weekend. And Alexis McAllister, 2 got off the mark against Fulham. He completes a midfield trio tonight. Up front, it is Mohamed Salah. Cody Gakpo comes in alongside Luis Diaz. On the bench tonight for Liverpool, 2 keepers, Adrian and Marcelo Pitaluga, Darwin Núñez, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, Kostas Tsimikas, Ryan Gravenberch, Jarell Kwanzaa and Connor Bradley complete the Liverpool substitutes. Incidentally, no Liverpool substitute has ever scored against Sheffield United, so Darwin Núñez might fancy his chances if he comes on this evening. Neil Mellor is alongside me. He's been taking a look at the team. Your thoughts, Mels?
We thought there'd be changes. Yeah, we wondered how many. Obviously, unfortunately, Matip adds to the ever-growing injury list. That is a little bit of a concern. So, Konate comes in for him as we expected. Joe Gomez going in at left full-back, as he did against Luton recently, and Tsimikas dropping to the bench. All 4 players that have come into the starting lineup did really well on Sunday against Fulham. All came off the bench and all had an impact in the game. Maybe that came into the manager's thoughts. It freshens things up as well. Endo will probably sit. That will release McAllister maybe a little bit more into midfield. And then Cody Gakpo. Probably expect to see Cody Gakpo down the middle, Diaz down the left and Salah down the right.
Yeah, we'll touch on Kostas Tsimikas because he seems to be really finding his feet in this team now, doesn't he? But the boss did say in his press conference that he can't play every game in what was a really hectic period. And tonight, with no disrespect to Sheffield United, maybe seems like a good game to rotate.
The schedule is very tough. There's 8 games in December. We're 1 down already. We saw how tough that game was against Fulham. Would have certainly taken a lot out of the lads. Here we go, they just started behind us, haven't they? But yeah, I mean, the schedule's so hectic that we knew there would be changes, and obviously Tsimikas is our only recognised fit left full-back, so he's looking after him. Joe Gomez can fill in, no problem there at left-back.
And a word on Endo, obviously first Premier League goal at the weekend. He will be desperate to take his chance tonight. Alexis McAllister as well, no doubt a shot in the arm for him getting his first goal.
I reckon they were probably saying who got the best goal at the weekend. I mean, McAllister's was special, it really was, probably the better of the 2. But Endo came off the bench, did really well, a couple of nice tackles. I think it'd be important to have that sort of shield. There's no doubt about it. Sheffield United will be putting balls into the penalty area, trying to get the ball up to the front men, and it's up to Endo as that shield to really look after the defence there.
And just a quick touch on the bench. It is very strong. It seems to be very strong in every game at the moment, doesn't it? But you look at Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, they didn't get any minutes, those 2, against Fulham at the weekend, so they'll be desperate to get on at some point as well.
Yeah, mentioned about the injuries, and it's not ideal at the moment, but there's certainly plenty of squad depth and strength to come off the bench if needed and to freshen things up as well. And Sheffield United might be still in the game, and all of a sudden they look over at the touchline, Núñez is coming on, Elliott, Curtis Jones, makes it a little bit difficult for them then.
OK, it is a busy night for us here. We will be back very soon with the Sheffield United team. Back to you for now. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, we will also just have a very quick look at Sheffield United because they've made a number of changes as well. We'll get confirmation from the guys at Bramall Lane, but it looks like 5 changes. Cameron Archer, of course, from Aston Villa, will lead their line, and James McAtee, who's on loan from Man City, also back into the team. Number of changes for Chris Wilder's first selection. But on Liverpool, we thought there'd be changes, fellas, and there are. What do you think?
I think it's still a very strong team. I think Joe Gomez coming in at left-back maybe brings a bit of stability there on that left-hand side. I know he doesn't like playing there, Joe, but does a good job. But I think with Endo coming in, it does allow McAllister to push forward a little bit into a natural position for him and try and get in those little pockets between the midfield and the defence. But I think it's going to be interesting with Gakpo, who likes to come towards the ball, and then the 2 lads, Diaz and Salah, who can get in behind. So it's going to be an interesting watch, I think, but it's a strong team.
Given also that Sheffield, we think, normally, or have played 3 at the back, does that release Trent and become a bit of a hybrid 3 and Trent go and play coming into midfield?
Yeah, I don't think... I think... What have we got on there?
Yeah.
Trent will play his normal one. I've been really pleased with Joe Gomez. He's not got... When he has played, he's been top class. I think his demeanour, his attitude has been spot on. When he's even come on as subs, I've seen him go in there and try and play in that midfield role, central. I think it's really gone well. I don't know if I'm right. Is this the first time McAllister's played in his Brighton role?
Yeah.
Which is going to be further forward. So that'll be interesting to see him released. And I think Endo deserves his chance. I don't think he's done anything wrong. I think he's done well. He puts a foot in, which he's going to need tonight. So yeah, it's as much as what we would imagine was going to start.
If memory serves, Endo struggled, played at Newcastle, didn't he? Which maybe allowed McAllister to play for Liverpool. But then, of course, Van Dijk sent off after 20 minutes. So everything was, the form book was ripped up really that day. So hard to judge. But certainly
the same result though, won't we?
You take the 3 points, absolutely. Yeah, you would. You would. And Gomez is a good talking point because he's obviously playing on the other side tonight. He's played 3 positions now in that back four. Yeah. He's still only 26, Joe. Yeah. And actually, he's one of the very few that predate the manager.
Yeah, but he's had terrible injuries as well, wasn't he, early in his career? His Achilles injury as well. But, you know, people were talking about him being an England captain of the future when he first came to Liverpool, and it's not quite worked out that. But wherever he's asked to play, he does a job. He came in and played against Luton, did very well as well. But I think if you've got Trent playing in that position who can push on, he can shuffle across with the other and be like a back three at times as well.
Yeah, it negates any attacking threat that you're going to have. That's the thing that happened with Andy Robertson. We weren't seeing him as that flying fullback. He had to be a bit more restrictive. And I get that. So, of course, when you're looking and you're going for having 3 centre-backs, and this is where if Trent does that one, that right centre-back, so much demands on him. He has to move across, has to get that right. Virgil shifts across, and then, of course, Joe. And I think Joe fully deserves this. And he's had a difficult time. But every time I've seen him play this season, I've gone, wow, you look as though you're going, right, I'm ready to accept the responsibility and play more regular.
And maybe Endo playing from the start, there's that little bit more insurance, isn't he? He's a more of a natural defensive 6 maybe than you could argue McAllister is.
You know, a few years ago doing the Bundesliga, watching him, you know, I thought he was a good player. He does really well for Japan. He's a bit of a leader. I think he's still finding his feet, Enfield. You know, he's not really held down a place yet, but he gets another opportunity tonight. But like Phil says, he likes to put his foot in, you know, but you don't want to get a yellow card early on here because it's going to be 100 mile an hour, especially early on. But he does a good job backing things up, allow the others to go and play. And I think he can grow into that role and get even more confident in that role, protecting the back line at times.
I suppose the other thought, I've got McAllister playing further forward, where perhaps Gravenberch has had a couple of games. He might knit with Diaz. Might give Diaz a bit more help up that left side, because he's looked sometimes a little bit lost, Diaz, in the last couple of games.
Yeah, Luis has. Obviously, he's had a very difficult time. And we always have to remember what he's gone through. And his life's probably being turmoil. His parents are over here now, and so there's a little bit more responsibility. I want to see him taking that full back on a bit more, just going on the outside, just giving it the way he did it, because his pace was frightening. But now he comes inside, and I think everybody's cottoning on to what he's going to do, because he does like that when he'll get a goal every 10 now, which you want more than that. I just want to see him stretch teams and go round on the outside and try and sort of test them.
Yeah, and a chance for Gakpo to play in a slightly different role, clearly, to Nunes. He's a slightly different player, but he looked good on Sunday when he came on.
Yeah, but I think when he's come off the bench, he's done very well in most of the games. It's when he starts, you think he's drifted out of the game a little bit. But tonight, he's going to play in that role where you come towards the ball a lot, and then you've got to get the other midfield players and Salah and Diaz going beyond you if you're coming in there. But he's a clever player, and he's getting more clever in that role. But he's been asked to play in an awful lot of different roles: midfield, wide left, up the middle as well. But at some point you have to say, where's your best position? I don't think we know what his best position is yet.
I think he'll cause them problems because you've got 3 centre-backs. There's nobody to mark. And what did he do? As a centre-back, Spack has played centre-back quite a bit. You don't want to go in there. Even in a 3, you don't want to go in there. You want to just stay in nice and tight at the back. You start getting dragged in there. Gakpo does it brilliant. Cody likes to go in there, drift. And him and Gravenberch are the two that over that first 5, 6, 7, 8 yards, they're just and they're gone. And I think that will cause them problems.
Yeah, plenty more to discuss, of course, on that team selection. Mo, of course, always starts. Never injured, never unavailable. Of course, live audio commentary of Sheffield United versus Liverpool is from 7:30 p.m. We'll also have analysis and exclusive post-match interviews in the Matchday reaction from 9:30. Later on, free highlights will be available to watch on Go. They are from 11:45 this evening before the full match replay is available on demand on LFC TV and LFC TV Go at midnight. And then on tomorrow, do look out for Inside, where we'll go behind the scenes at Bramall Lane. That'll be on the LFC YouTube and Facebook pages. Well, we're signing off on our social channels for the moment. Thank you very much for your company, but the build-up continues on LFC TV and LFC TV Go after the break. Details of how to subscribe are on the official website, liverpoolfc.com/watch. For the rest of you watching Matchday Live, there's plenty more to come pre-kickoff at 7:30, so do stay with us. We are back in a couple of minutes' time.